Remember when moving to a new town meant casseroles at your door and instant community? In 1955, families who relocated were embraced by neighbors within hours, invited to churches, clubs, and coffee klatches before boxes were unpacked. Today, people live somewhere for years without knowing who lives next door. But that's not even the loneliest part. Wait until you hear what else vanished when America stopped welcoming strangers. The moving truck pulled up to 412 Maple Street on a Tuesday morning in 1955. Before the engine stopped, curtains twitched in windows up and down the block. New family arriving was the week's biggest news. Within an hour, the welcoming committee assembled, not formally, just neighbors being neighbors. Mrs. Henderson from next door appeared with fresh-baked cookies and her famous tuna casserole. "For dinner tonight, dear. I know you won't have time to cook." Mrs. Patterson from across the street brought coffee cake and stayed to help unpack kitchen boxes. She'd lived there 20 years, knew everyone's business, shared it freely but kindly. By noon, the new family knew which doctor accepted payments in installments, which grocer gave fairest prices, whose teenager could babysit, which church had best youth programs. The intelligence network of small-town America activated instantly. But the welcome wagon was just the beginning. The actual welcome wagon lady arrived Wednesday. Official representative of the national organization, she brought a basket of gifts from local merchants, free bread from the bakery, discount coupons for the hardware store, complimentary oil change from Frank's Garage. More importantly, she brought social connections. Garden Club met Thursdays, Book Club on Tuesday evenings, Rotary, Lions Club, Eastern Star, every organization seeking members. Church representatives appeared throughout the week, not pushy, just friendly. Services at 10, coffee hour after. Everyone would love to meet you. By Sunday, the new family had 6 invitations to different congregations. They'd choose based on denomination, distance, and warmth of welcome. Kids were enrolled in school by Thursday. The principal's secretary lived 3 doors down, smoothed the process. Teachers already knew new students were coming. Small-town telegraph worked fast. Children found themselves invited to birthday parties before attending first classes. The husband's job integration was equally smooth. He'd transferred with the same company or found work through newspaper ads answered by mail. Either way, co-workers knew he was coming. Someone offered to show him around town during lunch. Another invited him to poker night. The bowling league needed players. Golf club memberships were affordable, accessible. Within 2 weeks, he had a social circle, regular activities, community connections. The wife, whether working or homemaking, found her place quickly too. Coffee klatches were daily neighborhood events, someone always hosting, catching up, sharing recipes and gossip. New women were gold, fresh stories, different perspectives, potential friends. If she worked, job opportunities came through connections. Henderson's department store needs someone in ladies' wear. If she stayed home, volunteer opportunities abounded. PTA, hospital auxiliary, church committees, all needing help, offering belonging. By month's end, the family was woven into town fabric. Not tourists or outsiders, but neighbors. Now let's see what greets new arrivals today. The moving truck pulls up to 412 Maple Street in today. Ring doorbell cameras record arrival, but no curtains twitch. Neighbors might notice eventually or might not. Everyone's at work, inside, or actively avoiding interaction. No welcome committee exists. Mrs. Henderson's house now belongs to young professionals who travel constantly. Mrs. Patterson's was torn down for townhouses whose residents remain strangers to each other. New arrivals unload alone or with paid movers. Nobody offers help, casseroles, or information. It would seem intrusive, creepy even. Why is this stranger at my door with food? Privacy and safety concerns override neighborly impulses. The first week passes in silence, maybe a wave from someone checking mail. Probably not. Everyone's garage doors close automatically, ensuring no accidental interaction. Social media neighborhood groups exist, but joining requires knowing they exist. Posts are mostly complaints about noise, suspicious persons, usually delivery drivers, or lost pets. Want to meet people? Good luck with that. Churches still exist, but expect visitors to initiate everything. Walk in Sunday, sit alone, leave unnoticed. Coffee hour means awkward standing while established cliques continue conversations. Joining requires persistent effort most newcomers abandon. Volunteer organizations need help, but make joining complicated. Background checks, applications, orientation sessions, insurance requirements. What was once show up and help became bureaucratic maze. Workplace friendships? Remote work killed that. Even in-person jobs discourage personal connections. HR policies, lawsuit fears, and general exhaustion mean coworkers stay coworkers. No poker nights, no bowling leagues, no after-work drinks. Everyone commutes from different areas anyway. Kids' activities might provide parent connections, but it's transactional. Brief sideline conversations during practices, then back to phones. Playdates require formal arrangements weeks in advance. Spontaneous neighborhood kid gatherings, extinct. The digital connection makes things worse. Theoretically, finding community should be easier now. Facebook groups, Nextdoor, meetup apps, Instagram local pages. But digital connection prevents actual connection. People join online groups then never meet in person. They know usernames, not actual names. Arguments explode over minor issues because keyboard warriors lack face-to-face accountability. New residents Google everything instead of asking neighbors. Why knock on doors when Yelp reviews exist? But reviews don't tell you Dr. Johnson makes payment plans or that Sarah's Bakery gives free day-old bread to struggling families. Local knowledge accumulated over generations dies with each Google search. The informal information networks that welcomed and integrated newcomers can't compete with algorithms. Even when new residents try engaging, they hit walls. Knock on doors? Nobody answers, assuming you're selling something. Join clubs? Most disbanded or went virtual. Volunteer? Navigate insurance requirements and background checks first. The housing itself creates isolation. That 1955 house had a front porch facing the street. Evening sitting meant inevitable interaction. Modern houses feature private backyards, minimal front windows, garage-forward designs. Architecture says, "Leave me alone." Apartment complexes are worse. Hundreds of units, zero community. Residents avoid eye contact in hallways. Laundry rooms and mailboxes become awkward encounter zones where everyone stares at phones. Some complexes advertise community amenities, pools and gyms where residents exercise alone, together. HOAs replace organic neighborhood connections with rule enforcement. Instead of neighbors working together, they report violations anonymously. Grass an inch too high? Fine. Wrong color mailbox? Fine. Community board meetings involve anger, not cooperation. New residents learn quickly. Keep quiet, follow rules, don't make waves, the opposite of belonging. Moving now means profound loneliness. Studies show moving ranks among life's most stressful events. In 1955, community support softened that stress. Today, isolation amplifies it. New arrivals can live somewhere for years feeling like strangers. They know nobody, nobody knows them. Emergencies reveal this starkly. Need someone to watch kids suddenly? In 1955, 3 neighbors volunteer. Today, scramble for expensive last-minute sitters from apps. Locked out? In 1955, neighbors had spare keys. Today, pay emergency locksmith. Medical crisis? In 1955, neighbors drive you, watch children, bring meals. Today, Uber to hospital alone. The safety net of community, woven through simple neighborly connections, no longer exists. People suffer alone in crowds surrounded by strangers living parallel lives. Depression, anxiety, and loneliness reach epidemic levels, partly because we've engineered community out of existence. Some try recreating what was lost. Intentional communities attempt rebuilding natural connections. Neighborhood Facebook groups organize forced interactions. Community building becomes scheduled activity rather than organic result. But it feels artificial because it is. You can't schedule spontaneity or mandate genuine care. Some new developments advertise walkable neighborhoods and front porch communities. They build houses closer together, add sidewalks, create common spaces. But physical proximity doesn't create emotional connection when the culture says, mind your own business. The infrastructure for community exists. The will doesn't. People want connection, but fear vulnerability. They want neighbors, but not intrusion. They want belonging, but not obligation. The balance that existed naturally in 1955 can't be forced today. What created this anonymous existence? Multiple factors destroyed American community. Mobility increased. Average Americans move 11 times versus 3 in 1955. Why invest in relationships you'll leave? Technology enabled isolation. Everything deliverable means never needing neighbors. Work culture changed. Two-income necessities and long commutes leave no time for coffee klatches or poker nights. Fear increased. Stranger danger, lawsuit culture, and crime coverage make neighbors seem threatening rather than supportive. Architecture reflected and reinforced isolation. Garage doors, privacy fences, and minimized common spaces prevent accidental interaction. Most fundamentally, individualism overtook communalism. Mind your own business became supreme virtue. It takes a village became quaint anachronism. The real cost goes beyond inconvenience. Humans need community. We're tribal creatures forcing ourselves into isolation. The health impacts mirror smoking's damage. Loneliness kills through stress, depression, and lack of support during crises. Children raised without neighborhood connections struggle with social skills. They don't learn the casual interaction that builds society. Elderly people die alone, undiscovered for days. In 1955, someone would have noticed missed routines. Democracy suffers when citizens don't know each other. How can we solve common problems with strangers? How can we trust people we've never met? Social fabric tears, replaced by political tribalism and online rage. We're lonelier than ever while surrounded by more people. The welcome wagon lady with her basket of coupons and connections represented something profound. A society that actively integrated newcomers, that understood belonging as necessity, not luxury. Can community be rebuilt in modern America? Some neighborhoods maintain connection traditions, usually older, stable communities where people stayed put. New residents moving there find echoes of 1955, neighbors who notice, welcome, include. But these are exceptions. Most Americans, especially young ones, experience anonymous existence as normal. They don't know what they're missing because they never experienced true community. The solution isn't recreating 1955 exactly. That era had exclusions, racial, religious, social. But we could reclaim the principle while expanding the practice. Welcome all newcomers. Make connection default, not exception. Choose interaction over isolation. Some start small. One neighbor begins greeting others. Someone organizes a block party. A few families create babysitting co-ops, tiny threads that might weave new social fabric. But it requires swimming against cultural current, being weird neighbor who brings cookies, risking rejection to offer help, choosing vulnerability over safety. Here's what we really lost when the welcome wagon disappeared. We lost the assumption that newcomers deserve welcome, that strangers are potential friends, not threats, that community requires effort from everyone. We lost the infrastructure of connection, the clubs, committees, and coffee klatches that turned strangers into neighbors. We lost the expectation of mutual aid, that watching each other's kids, sharing tools, and bringing casseroles were normal, not extraordinary. We lost local knowledge passed person to person. Which businesses treat people fairly, which doctors truly care, which families need extra support. Mostly we lost the recognition that individual success requires community support, that nobody thrives alone, that belonging somewhere matters more than privacy protection. The moving truck still arrives at 412 Maple Street, but instead of curtains twitching with curiosity and preparation for welcome, Ring cameras record another stranger's arrival in a neighborhood full of strangers. The boxes get unpacked, the garage door closes, and another family begins their anonymous existence in a place that could have been home but will remain just an address. Because somewhere between 1955 and today, America forgot how to say, "Welcome to the neighborhood," and mean it. The welcome wagon didn't just bring coupons and church invitations, it brought belonging. And that's what we desperately need to find again, one casserole at a time.